Jenna.
Hi, Mommy.
Hi, Amy.
Hey, y'all. How are you?
Oh, we got a y'all all the way from Texas. How are
Hey,
you?
y'all sometimes.
I know you do. I don't, but you do.
I
You
say
got a
it a
little
lot.
Kentucky in you.
Yeah, but I'm changing my license the second I get to New York, so it's fine.
Fine, then you have to vote in New York.
Fine, and I will vote.
Welcome to the Social Dialogue Podcast. We're a mother-daughter team, both working in the world of social media management.
Join us as we share our different perspectives on life today, including trends, fashion, friendships, and career, and how social media impacts it all. Together, we bring two perspectives to one conversation.
I'm Shane,
And I'm Jenna.
and we're excited to bring you this new episode of the Social Dialogue Podcast.
Hi, Amy.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here, you guys.
How
Thank
are
for having
you?
me. I'm going through it, per
Yeah.
usual. All the things. Yeah.
So Amy, Jenna, Amy.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
I feel like I know you because I've been listening to the podcast, and so I feel like I'm part of the gang now. So
Well,
thanks.
you are.
Yeah.
So Amy and I met in person at the same conference I was at with Ann. We were all at that chocolate place together at the
We
same
were.
time.
I
in
was pretty
Cleveland.
much the third wheel in that situation.
No.
Yes, it's totally fine.
I just didn't know you as well. I think that's really when, like, I knew you on Twitter, but then I wasn't on Twitter so much. So I feel like we really got to know each other that weekend in Cleveland. It was fun.
For sure. Yeah. And well, I didn't know pretty much anyone. So
Really?
the fact it was only my second year being at Content Marketing World. No, it was my third because the second year was hybrid because it was, or no, it was online
COVID.
because of COVID.
Yeah.
So I
It
think
was
that
still
was my
like
third
kind
time.
of COVID when we were there, right?
Yeah,
It was like at
it,
the end of it.
it
Yeah.
was, yes.
Yeah. Well, good. It's good to see you. I'm excited. Before we get into it, what are you doing now?
I am contracting as a content strategist for a government healthcare tech company, and that ends April 30th. So I am looking for a new role myself.
Oh, well, we're going to talk about that because you guys have some things in common.
Okay, love
All
it.
right.
Here for it.
So I wrote a quick bio, so I'm gonna open up and introduce you to our audience and to Jenna, so she can know a little bit more about you. I mean, she's already read this, but you know. Okay, so to our audience, I want to introduce Amy Fair, known online as Amy Longhorn. That's how I know you. That's how I had you in my phone. Actually, I had to change it. Yeah, I changed you. Like I had you as Amy Longhorn. Amy Fair is a dynamic, strategic, and results-oriented marketing and communications professional with extensive experience in the IT services industry. She's been recognized for building effective relationships between business and technology teams to ensure effective strategies to build the company's reputation in the marketplace. And really, the bottom line about Amy is the first thing you'll see when you look at her LinkedIn bio. I write killer content. That's how you describe yourself. I love that. So today we want to talk to you not just about content and social media, but also about the process of finding a job. Because when I first met you, you were on the hunt. I think that's why you were at the conference, was to network with other people in the content marketing world, literally, to find your next position. And so I kind of want to start off by talking about that because right before we started recording, I asked you what you were doing and you told us a little bit. Do you want to share a little bit about what you're doing now and sort of what your next step is?
Sure. So right now I am finishing up a contract position where I'm supporting an organization, helping them with content specifically for their campaigns and account-based marketing. That contract ends at the end of this month. So I am actively pursuing my next role. I found that throughout my career, sometimes contracts can be easier to come by, but they aren't as stable as a full-time opportunity. So hopefully I'll be able to find a full-time role, but you know what? I'll do whatever I have to do to take care of my family. So I am open to whatever can help me be successful, but also pay the bills.
Well, and you do have a second full-time role as mom. So you have two children who are still, need a carpooler and,
Yes.
you're in that stage. So give yourself some grace. You've got some time. But you have that in common in that Jenna is getting ready to graduate. She doesn't like to talk about it, but it's happening.
Don't say the G word, Mom.
I know it's happy and sad. It's so different when she graduated high school. She was so happy. We were so happy for her. She was so ready to go. It's much different this time. Like she really
I
doesn't.
am. It's like it's like mixed. Like
Right.
I can't really describe it. There's some days where I'm like, I want to stay here forever, and then there's some days where I'm like, oh, I'm ready to like when we signed my lease. I was like, oh my god, I'm really so excited to move, yay! But now I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck, like I have to move. Like what is
I have to
going
grow
on?
up.
Yeah, I have to be an
Yeah.
adult. Like I have to pay my rent. Like
Yeah. And she is officially, can I say, she's officially moving
so yeah,
to
I just
New
said I signed my
she's
lease.
she's officially moving to New York City.
That's so exciting.
So we're very
Congratulations.
excited for her. And she is still working with her internship that she had. So kind of similar. She has sort of an end date. They are going to keep her kind of going forward on a project basis, which we don't exactly know the details of that yet, but we know there'll be some income coming in. But she's looking for her full-time position as well. So one of the things I've noticed is, and I first noticed it with Jenna because she sent it to me to look at, but I noticed you have this too, Amy, that you have a portfolio, an online portfolio with your experience. And it's so, of course, the last time I had like a resume and a job application situation was decades ago because I've been doing this for so long. And it's different now. And it's much different, I think, than people who are like in the finance industry, right? I'm assuming they don't need something like that. But people in a creative world, you both have these really cool portfolios to show people, to showcase, who you are and what you do. So I thought maybe you can both kind of talk about the purpose of that, how that comes together, how you envision it sort of evolving as you go through both of your careers.
I'll start. Mine's super basic. It's a totally free thing that I kind of whipped together initially when I was looking for a job in 2023. And it's literally just a place where I could like link to work that I've done. In the work that I do, I don't put my name on anything. I'm usually essentially ghostwriting blogs for executives, or I'll create like an ebook or support a report that doesn't have like author bylines per se. But I do want to show like what I can do. And what I try to do on my portfolio is give a variety of different types of things that I've worked on, whether that's from an industry perspective or from a format perspective. And so I think mine only has like 10 links that you can put on there, but I do try to keep it updated so that, the stuff from 2023 is like way far down, if even still on there. But the things that I more recently have put out are out there so that people can see that I am still producing. I have been working, even though I've been at a job, on a contract for 4 months or a year and a half, whatever the case may be, I've still been busting out some content. And so that's what I really use it for. And I feel like in a lot of the roles that I've been applying for, they require it. And yes, it's basic, but it still gets the job done.
Yeah, Jenna, I mean, you can talk a little bit about your portfolio and how you decided what to put in there, because I know you're kind of the same, especially with your internship. No one knows who's behind the scene making that content. I mean, I know because I'm your mom and I follow everything, but it's good that you share those examples.
yeah, for me, I just like the world is so competitive. Marketing is competitive, advertising is competitive, and portfolios are just a way to make you stand out because it's uniquely you. Every single resume looks the same. Every single kid has 5 internships. Like, it's so hard to stand out in a crowd. And by having a portfolio, it kind of is uniquely you. And yes, anyone can make a portfolio. There's so many different free websites to do it. But for me, it's something extra to share. Like, here's my work. Like, here's the kind of work I will produce when you hire me, or if you hire me, but when.
Go for
Um,
when. Let's be positive. When you hire
yeah.
me.
When failure is not an option.
Not an option. But for me, things I chose were just things I've been doing in my internship. Also, things I kind of looked at a couple other portfolios of people who work in the industry, and I kind of was inspired by them. And like, these are people who got jobs pretty quickly right off the bat. And I'm like, what is in your portfolio that could help me with mine? And yeah, it's just like taking inspiration from others, but making it authentically yourself. And you just want to have something that's you and something that you're proud of. And like, I really love my portfolio, and it's still obviously it's a work in progress. I'm changing things all the time. But that's also what I love about it is because like it is something, as you said, Amy, like your stuff from 2023 may be at the bottom, but it's still there.
Mhm.
So yeah, I just think it's a fun way to express yourself, something different and make you stand out in a crowd. And while everyone has a portfolio, not everyone's is gonna look, you know, everyone's looks like them essentially. So like mine looks like me.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to share too, though, is that I think portfolios can be very like intricate and detailed, and some people like will farm out like building a website to essentially be their portfolio. For me, I'm not technical by any means, so that freebie website definitely works for me. But one thing that I think we should be doing on our portfolios, in addition to actually showcasing like what we do, if there's an option for you to be able to show the results of the pieces that you've put out, whether that be engagement or, pipeline that was created because of that like particular ebook or report or something like that. Anything that you can do to stand out in the crowd these days is so important because the market is inundated with amazing candidates, and to be able to differentiate yourself and stand out is huge.
Yeah, that's good advice. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Jenna, do you want to go on to our next question?
Yeah.
It's sort of
It's kind
related.
of the same, but we've already talked about the fact I'm graduating, all the things, blah blah, whatever. Um, so what are your best tips for people in my position, or honestly, really any position, as they share themselves online with the intention of landing a position?
That is a beautiful question. I think mainly you need to remember who your audience is. When you are in a job search, everything you put out there can be seen. And it might sound silly to think that way, but I think it's really important for you to be intentional about how you portray yourself. I typically only post things related to my professional life on LinkedIn. And I also want to make sure that I am presenting myself in a way that's positive, enthusiastic, like I'm ready to hit the ground running, like let's do it. Um, and I was in a extended job search in 2023. I lost my job in July and I didn't find something full time till February of 2024. And to me, I would scroll LinkedIn and I'd see a lot of those posts where people were like, I've applied 800 jobs. I've been ghosted 790 times. I've had, one person contact me and zero offers. And to me, I respect that that was their experience and that is totally valid. But I wanted to be the one to be portraying myself as hopeful. And so a couple of the posts in particular that I did that year that stood out to me was like, I put up my Christmas tree on October 1st that year because I was like, this mama needs hope. And I did a post about that, but I framed it in a way that I was able to share out how like little random acts of kindness throughout my job search were presented to me. And that was just another way for me to share out that I'm here, I'm available to work, like let's do the damn thing. And another post that I did that really resonated was I would come across like webinar opportunities or virtual networking opportunities, and to register for them you had to have a business email, which I didn't have because I was looking for a new role. So whoever posted about that particular event, I would message them and say, hey, I really want to attend this webinar. I do not have a business email to register with. Is there any way you can get me in? And I always went into those messages knowing that the worst they could say is no, but no one ever did. So what I did was I posted about that, and that kind of served a dual purpose of I wanted to show that yes, I was not working, but I still was keeping up with my marketing chops because I didn't want to get left behind, but then also to call out those people who were so helpful and, gave me the opportunity to participate when I might not have otherwise been able to. So I think really keeping in mind your audience and the way that you want for them to think of you is super important at any point in your career, not just when you're searching for a job.
Yeah, and that was actually what I was going to kind of touch on next because I know you are online a lot. I mean, that's really how we know each other. So, how do you sort of focus on? I mean, there's a good balance act. There's something you want from someone, right? But you
Mhm.
don't want to just go in and ask them, "Hey, can you help me get on this webinar?" or whatever it might be. So, how do you sort of balance that building a community online and retaining that network and then not being that person that the only time they hear from you is when you need something, you know?
I think that's hard because a lot of times I think our mentality or our mindset is that you have to have hundreds, thousands of followers. It's all about the quantity. But for me, it's more so I focus on the quality. And I don't think of people as just connections because that feels very transactional to me. And sometimes that is the case on LinkedIn. People will connect with you just to 5 seconds later pitch slap you, like so that you buy their stuff. For me, it definitely is a two-way street when it comes to networking. And, you don't want to be the person who has been in this great job for a few years and you haven't needed help to all of a sudden show up and be like, here I am, I'm available. If you haven't been willing to show that support on the flip side and offer your own help to people who are in need or who are in a job search or maybe who just need to vent or you see a job posting and it makes you think of someone and you send it to them in DMs. If you haven't been doing that, it's really hard to expect that people will do that for you in return. But it does happen. And I say that because when I was in my job search, I got a message from a woman who had a position open at her company. I knew this woman from college and I was like 15 years out ish from college, but I participated in the Association for Women in Communication student organization. And we had a professional chapter there in Austin that we would like get together and do events together and things like that. And so she was one of my very first LinkedIn connections like ever. And in 2023, she reached out to me after we hadn't talked like really talked. And she said, hey, there's a position open at my company. I saw you were looking. So if you're interested, I'd be happy to give you a referral. I felt bad because I hadn't maintained that connection. And I think it says a lot more about her than it does about me that she was willing to offer that at that time.
That's amazing. And I think, one of the things on LinkedIn, because I think when we first started getting on LinkedIn, whenever that was, 2009, 2010, I don't remember, you'd like,
2006 for me.
was it? I mean, I don't even remember how old I was. I mean, how many years ago I got on there, but I remember like in the beginning, we would sort of accept connections from really anyone. We're all out here to make connections. I'm much more particular now because I can kind of tell sometimes based if I don't know them, we have no
Mhm.
connections and I can look at what they do. I know why they're connecting with me. So I'm less likely to accept the connection, but I have a ton of connections I don't know in real life. And so right now, Jenna's using LinkedIn to network and she's doing lots of things on her own, like following looking to see who's graduated from her university at different positions. But she'll ask me, I applied to such and such position. Do you know anyone at this company?
Mhm.
So now we're in a position of asking people, like I'll reach out to someone I know who's a second connection. Hey, do you know this person in real life? Or do you know them well enough to ask a favor? Because they may have connected with them 15 years ago and they don't actually know them. So you don't want to like ask a favor. So it's kind of like added another layer to that networking, like making sure we actually know each other in real life. And it works. I mean, last week she asked me about one and I found out someone I went to summer camp with and college with knew a ton of people at that company and she knew him individually, independently. So she reached out to him directly and had a call, which was great. So
Can I just say that I love how you are helping Jenna, Shane, because I got my very first job out of college through my dad.
did you really?
I absolutely did.
What was your first job out of college?
So I took on a marketing specialist job at EDS. And the way that I got that job was I had graduated college a semester early in December, but I stayed in Austin to work. But I was hitting the ground running with my job search. I had a journalism degree, did not want to do journalism. And I was focusing my career on marketing or media or public relations, something in that realm. And my dad messaged me and he's like, send me your resume. And I'm like, Dad, come on. I was like, let's not. But he's like, no, seriously, send me a resume. So finally I did. And he went into his little intranet directory, found a guy in the marketing department, and sent him my resume and said, hey, my daughter is graduated from college and she's looking for a job in marketing. If y'all have anything, would you be willing to consider her? And Bruce, the guy that my dad randomly found, said, we don't have anything here locally in Plano, but I know that our public sector marketing team is looking for a new writer. And so he sent my information to them, and I did phone interviews because this was pre-Zoom, and I was in Austin and they were outside of DC. So I ended up interviewing and getting the job, and I packed my little 2-door Chevy Cavalier with my whole life and drove halfway across the country and started my career out there. But I know that people think it might be cringy to like use your parents' network, but all my dad did for me was open a door. He did not do all of the things that were on my resume that got me the initial call. He did not sit on the phone interviews with me. All he did was use his connections that he honestly didn't really have. He literally just
Right.
looked
But
up Bruce.
that's why we have these connections,
Exactly.
and, there is a fine line. I do think some parents go overboard making the phone call to,
Mm,
hire my kid, or they sit on the interviews, which is like kooky and crazy to me. But, if I can open a door for Jenna, she takes it from there. Anytime I
yes.
introduce her to someone, I step out after the introduction. She takes it from there. She's a responsible adult. She knows how to write a thank you email. She's very, she's responsible. So I feel safe in introducing her to people. Like, I don't feel like I'm going to be like, my kid's going to screw this up.
Yeah.
She's not, So if I can help open a door for her, I absolutely will. And it's all about who you know. There's too many candidates and not enough jobs. So you've got to go through. And to be honest, one of the best doors I was able to open for her was someone I hadn't seen since high school who works for a big company. He's very high up at this company. He's really become her mentor. And, when there's something going on in her job search, he's like number 1 and 2 of who she calls the coach and this gentleman. And he's been really, really helpful.
Well, because mom won't let me call her. Well, sometimes I do. Well, it depends. Sometimes she's on my ass a lot. Sometimes she's like, stop calling me, call Heather. Sometimes she's right in the middle. So like you never know which way she's gonna go.
Very rarely right in the middle. In
Yeah,
fact,
you're either
in
on
fact-
my ass or you don't want me to talk about it.
I want her to talk to the people I've introduced her to because they're just much more knowledgeable than I am. So last week we had a situation where she was texting Heather about like legit work stuff.
Mhm.
And I was sending Heather TikToks of crazy parents that had nothing to do with Jenna. But Heather texted both of us and said, I love when I'm texting both of you at the same time. And she's like, why are you texting Heather? I swear I'm applying to jobs. And I'm like, this wasn't about you. I sent Heather crazy TikToks all day about crazy parents. And it just happened to be while Jenna's like in the middle of a serious conversation.
It's balance, y'all. It's balance.
Exactly. We have very different relationships with Heather. I don't call Heather and talk about Jenna's job search. That's none of my business. I don't. Believe me or not, I don't. I call Heather and talk to her about my friend needs help for her daughter. Can I introduce you? That's when I usually call Heather. Or I send her crazy TikToks of crazy Facebook parents. Okay, so Jenna, you had another question to
Okay.
ask.
So I've been with my internship for almost a year. Not over a year, mom. Almost a year.
Pretty close.
May. It's April.
Okay, pretty
Whatever.
close.
Cut that out. So I've been with my internship now for almost a year. I know their voice. I know what matters. So what's your best advice when you are new to a job and the quickest way to start understanding their message, and be able to put out content?
Yeah, typically the organizations that I work with, they have very well documented style and brand guidelines. So that tab is always open. As a marketer, you probably know you'll have 87 tabs open at all times. The one I always have open is whatever that organization's brand guidelines are. Just making sure that you absorb all of the information that you can to learn the industry, to learn the way you talk in that industry is super important. And, I've worked in tons of different industries. I worked in cybersecurity. I've written for financial services. I've written for public sector, I've written for healthcare, and there are just nuances to every kind of industry, and knowing your audience and how to speak to them and with them, I think is super important. So be a sponge. If there's any opportunities for onboarding or training, take them. And really, one thing I want to point out too, as a content marketer, is that product marketing can be your best friend, because those are the folks who are like in the weeds with the super technical people, and they're creating like sales enablement. So more of that bottom of the funnel type of content. And if you can work with them to really understand what you're writing about, to be able to pull the content up to that top funnel thought leadership type level, you will be like going gangbusters. So definitely consider product marketing your best friends if you're going into an industry where you might not be as up on, nuances or how things work.
That's good advice. One of the challenges I have as a small business owner is I need to be marketing myself, and it's sort of
Hmm.
for me, it's always back burnered. I'm like, I'll get to that. I have 15 different clients to get content out, and then if I'll get to me when I can. So how do you sort of put yourself forward and market yourself as a marketer? I know we've kind of touched on it with the portfolio, but anything else that you would say about putting yourself out front when you've got work to do?
I actually spoke about this at Content Marketing World in 2023. I did a presentation there on how content marketers market themselves. And it was interesting because when I initially proposed my session, I had a job. And by the time I presented it, I was looking for a job. So I was literally practicing what I was preaching. I think what you need to understand from a personal branding perspective is that it it's a long game, right? It's, again, not that little moment in time where you need something, and it's the same in the corporate world. You're not gonna post a blog and get $1 million in pipeline in 2 minutes. It's just not how things work. So being consistent and showing up is super important. I also think the audience situation, understanding your audience and who you are writing to and who you are writing for, definitely help you. I also think I presented about like what I call the ICP. So in the corporate world, that's the ideal client profile. For me, it was the ideal connection profile. And I recommend but to me, really understanding who are the people who are going to be in your corner is huge. So I presented this woman. Her name was Joy. She was like my person in my network. I had worked with her in the past. We ended up living around the corner from each other. We would go to lunch together. She was super supportive to me in like all the things. And so I have like this core group of people who I can text. Like I've literally been getting laid off. Like I'm on the phone, losing my job, and off to the side, I'm texting my people like, hey, I'm literally losing my job right now. And they will come and support me. So I think it's really important that you have those people who are in your corner always, no matter what situation you might be in. You might be, having a crappy day and you just need to vent with someone. I had somebody ping me the other day and said, "Do you have 30 minutes for a vent session?" I said, "Yes, I do. Let's get on a call and let's just talk it out." So,
Yeah. Hey, I feel you. I vent sessions all the time. A lot of them to my mother.
To which I say, call Heather.
Well, about everything, not just like finding a job. I just signed a lease in New York City. There's a lot going on here.
Indeed.
Yeah. So, Amy, thank you so much for coming on. Before you go, how can people find you if they want to connect?
I am on LinkedIn. Um, just search Amy Fair. I have that as a way to get connected with me. Otherwise, I'm like an old lady. I do the Facebook. I'm an OG member of Facebook because I was in college when it was only available to college students. But LinkedIn's the best way to get in touch with me.
And anyone who's hiring for a content writer, a content marketer right now, your portfolio's on there. So they can see some examples of your work, which is great.
Absolutely.
Amy, thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
It's so interesting. You guys are at very different stages and ages, but kind of going through the same thing. So your advice here is really, really valuable. I learned a few things kind of about, what the job market is like and what Jenna's going through. So
That it sucks.
It does. It's a terrible job market. It's
Well, and
just
I don't mean
terrible.
to say anything to like freak you out, Jen. I know you're like in it right now,
Yeah.
but I feel like people put on rose-colored glasses. Social media can be the highlight reel, like you guys have talked about on the podcast.
Mhm.
But I think that I just try to be real. And I think that's more relatable than anything that people can put out. And so
Absolutely. And
yeah.
it's going to turn around. It has to, right?
We've got this.
We've got this. That's a great way to end. Amy,
Yeah.
thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
joining us. What?
I want to see the dogs.
I can't show you the dogs from this screen. There's your father ignoring that we're recording, but the guest is gone, so I guess it's okay. Whatever. Pays no attention. Are you following the Alex and Alex?
Oh my god, I saw it this morning. I was thoroughly entertained during class.
I mean, Dave Portnoy's gotten in on it. I mean, this is a big deal. Where do you think people, what do you think?
I don't even know what the drama is. I'm going to be so honest with you.
So it would be great if they actually did go online and talk about it and set a good example for communication instead of whatever the hell this is. That's what I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
it will probably change by the time we get off this call about.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, we're recording this for the record on Monday, April 13th. So by Tuesday, April 14th, Grandma's birthday. Don't forget to call her.
I know.
Who knows what will change. But anyway, anything else going on in your world?
So much. Never
Yes,
ends.
a lot. There's a lot going on. Anything fun going on in your social algorithm? Let me ask you that.
Coachella. That's really fun. I love seeing all the outfits. But yeah, that's been my feed. It's a lot of Coachella.
Okay. I'm getting a lot of New York City stuff because we were looking at stuff the other day. And so now I'm seeing a lot, the fun part of New York, not the political side, which just pisses me off, but the fun stuff, restaurants, shopping, pop-ups, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's fun to see. I'm excited that we're going to move you in at the end of May. I'm excited to come visit in July. That's going to be great. And all I'm really seeing on the Facebook groups right now are a lot of people asking a lot of questions they should be asking their kids. When do the dorms close? Where can I store things? How do I get my kids' stuff out of their dorm room and into my car? Why are you asking the internet these questions? Please, can we just please, can we be adults? So yeah, that's a lot of what I'm seeing in the Facebook groups. Questions that are better asked to your children who have the answers. So
For sure.
that's what I got. Have a great day. I'll talk to you later. I love you.
Love you. Okay, bye.
Thanks for joining us on the Social Dialogue Podcast. If you liked today's conversation, be sure to leave us a 5-star rating and a review and share it with a friend.
Keep the dialogue going with us on social. Find us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube.
I'm Shane.
And I'm Jenna.
Thanks for listening.